Hello everybody, welcome back to the KOTLC Fanbase. My name is Austin, and I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Christmas break so far. You guys are watching this on Christmas Eve, so I hope you guys are having just a wonderful Christmas, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, hope you are having a wonderful Hanukkah and all the other celebrations you guys do for this time of year. But in today's video, we're going to be doing the top 10 STELLARLUNE moments. I'm sure all you guys have read the book by now, and I'm sure you guys definitely think of this book as just really good. I know it's top 3 for me. It's just such a great book. A lot of action, a lot of plot twists, a lot of surprises, so I definitely remember a lot of great moments, and I'm going to be sharing you guys my top 10. But before we get into that list, make sure to drop a like down below if you guys enjoyed STELLARLUNE. Also comment down below what is your favorite STELLARLUNE moment. I'm sure all of you guys are going to say the Sokeith kiss, but if you guys have any other cool moments you want to share, please link them down below. And lastly guys, subscribe down below. We're trying to get to 14,000 subscribers, and if you guys could help us get to that milestone, that would be amazing. It would be an awesome Christmas gift for us. But with that being said, let's get straight into my 10th favorite moment. Alright, so jump straight into it. My 10th favorite moment in KOTLC STELLARLUNE is going to be the Ro and Sophie dynamic. And I know this is a kind of long moment that spanned over about the first half of the book, but I think that this new dynamic between Ro and Sophie was just very cool to the series, especially because of how quickly Ro came to Sophie's side after Keith went missing. The first night when Keith ran off, Ro immediately went to Sophie and said, "I'm gonna protect you because I have no one else to protect right now." And I thought that was pretty cool, and it was kind of awkward at first, especially when Ro jumped into the bed with Sophie and they were just gonna sleep together. But over time, Sophie and Ro developed this very cool connection, and I think that Ro is a really great character, and I really respect her more after seeing more and more of Ro through Sophie's perspective in this book. So I'm definitely really love that type of, relationship, Sophie and Ro. A lot of cool moments, especially when Ro gave Sophie her dagger, which I'm pretty sure she called it Hope. I thought it was just a great addition, and we usually see a lot of Sandor, but seeing more of Ro this book I think was really cool. So that is going to be my top 10 moment. Let's get into number 9. Now to get into my 9th favorite moment from KOTLC STELLARLUNE, the Jency and Sophie conversation. Now the reason I love this is so much because in a lot of videos past, I have said that I've really wanted to see more of Jency in the book, and I thought that he deserved a lot more page time. And to get to see him in this book, it felt like a breath of fresh air. I just missed Jency for so long, and I think that why I liked it so much was because it was so interesting to see that Jency had not manifested yet. I feel like we all were expecting him to manifest as his brother, who is a phaser. I think we were all expecting that, but to see that he's not manifested, it kind of connects him to Rex, who hasn't manifested. It kind of shows like the real sadness that you have when you don't manifest, and it shows that life is just way harder when you don't have a talent. And I thought that was interesting to the series, and just why it's in my top 10 is just because I love Jency so much. She's a great character. I hope to see him in the next book, and it was just awesome to see Sophie invite him to their table so he didn't have to sit alone, and I think they were all supportive towards Jency even if he didn't manifest, showing that the Black Swan really doesn't care if you're talentless or you have a talent. So that was awesome to see. But now let's get into number 8. Alright, so my 8th favorite moment of this book was going to be Syra's memory. Now this was a memory that I think Syra implanted in Wiley, and I'm pretty sure Sophie and Fitz, after they did their little inquisition, they went in and they found a cool memory from Syra that actually helped them reach Elysian. And I just thought this was a cool memory because it kind of had so many connections. It was kind of like her leaving like a clue and leaving an impact on the Black Swan. I think that was really cool to see, and especially like just hiding something in plain sight, hiding the Starstone like Beyonna's hairpin box. And Beyonna always wondered like, why did Syra want me to have this hairpin so much? And now everything's all connected, and it's so cool to see the Black Swan advance through all these different clues and just start to realize more and more and start to understand the whole picture. So it was awesome to see that. I always love to see Syra, even though she's no longer here. I think that she's leaving a cool impact on the series. So that is my number 8. Let's get on to number 7. So my 7th favorite moment of this book is going to have to be Sophie's reaction to Keith's letter. I thought it was awesome, and just due to the fact that there's no more oblivious Sophie. Sophie has been oblivious to Keith's feelings all this time, and of course she felt confused by the letter at first, and she was like, what does this mean? What does this mean? But I think that deep down she starts to understand that Keith has feelings, and of course Ro pushes her to start realizing that and kind of really reassures Sophie that Keith does like her. But Sophie's starting to pick up the clue. She's not oblivious anymore. So I have to include that in my top 10 moments because we were all really left at this cliffhanger with Keith's note, and we want to see Sophie react to it, and I thought it was really cool to see how Sophie reacted. So that's going to be number 7. Now let's get into number 6. Alright, my 6th favorite moment in STELLARLUNE is going to be the Black Swan Never Seen meeting, and I thought this brought a lot of different narratives to the book. It really shows that Glimmer doesn't try to betray them and is actually trying to work with the Black Swan. It shows that the Never Seen and the Black Swan trying to team up and align, and it shows that they're not just two sides to the war anymore. From what I see that there's the Black Swan, the Never Seen, and Lady Gisela, and I feel like we start to realize in this meeting that Lady Gisela is on her own now. She's split from the Black Swan. Now you have the Black Swan and the Never Seen working together. It's mind-boggling, but honestly, if this meeting didn't occur, then the Black Swan would not have been able to locate Keith. If Vespera didn't tell them that they could track Keith through his shadow flux, then Lady Gisela would probably have been able to find Keith. So that's very, very helpful from Vespera, and of course they help each other to get to Elysian, and of course Vespera dies and all of that, but I love this meeting. It was really, really advancing the plot, and it was definitely surprising. I did not expect this from, reading the book. I would not actually expect them to go through with this. So it was cool to see the Black Swan Never Seen working together on a change. Let's get into number 5. So my 5th favorite KOTLC STELLARLUNE moment is going to have to be the final scene of Elysian. So much happened there. I mean, so many different plot points, like such a great cliffhanger. I mean, one thing, obviously I'm upset by this, but Sandor is like nowhere to be found. He's like underground, like trapped. I don't know where he is. I hope he's okay because he's my favorite bodyguard. Vespera died. I mean, that is a huge plot twist. I don't know why they didn't put her inside the force field because they were working with her, but sorry Vespera. And then, Keith and Lady Gisela are talking, and then starts to like pull out Sophie's dagger, and they start attacking each other, and some lady steps out in a gray cloak and says like, hey, I'm the power source you're looking for. I'm Elysian. It was just an amazing cliffhanger. We know Shannon Messenger and her cliffhangers. We have to give it to her. These cliffhangers are very painful. I'm super excited to see what happens next in the book. Yeah, this cliffhanger is one of my top moments. Even though it's the last scene, it is definitely a great scene to see in the series. That is my number 5. Let's get into 4. Alright, my 4th favorite moment from this book is going to have to be Glimmer revealing her identity. I thought this was a very, very interesting thing. Oh, I think a lot of people had all these different theories about who Glimmer is, and I really didn't think that Glimmer was going to be Jolie or Cyber or anything. I thought she was going to be a new character too, but just the character she was very interesting to me. She's revealed to be someone named Rainey. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. Her name's Rainey, and she was like part of this huge tribunal that Sophie actually witnessed right when she went into the Lost Sea, so there's connection there. And I thought there was a lot of interesting information about Glimmer's new identity, and that Rainey was actually part of this tribunal because her parents were a bad match and they kind of like forced themselves to be a good match or something like that. So Glimmer kind of showed how the matchmaking system is flawed, and she also exposed that Stina's parents might also be a bad match as well. But definitely interesting to see who Glimmer actually is, and hope to see her in the next book. So now let's get into my 3rd favorite moment. Alright, so number 3 is going to have to be Sophie and Keith finally see each other again. When they knock on the door and Keith opens, and man, I'm so glad that we saw Keith so early into the book series. Like in my head, I thought that we weren't going to see Keith in the entire book. I'm so glad that Vespera told them the location of Keith, because I think we all theorized before that Keith would be in London, but it was so cool to see him. And I think my favorite part about that scene was when Keith asked Sophie like, hey, you promise you'll destroy the power source when you find it? And Sophie said yeah, but then he was like, Keith was like, I don't trust you, I'm coming home. And I was so glad because I did not want Sophie to leave Keith in London. I wanted Keith to come home. I wanted him to be back in the plot. So it was very, very cool to have Keith back. I'm sure that you all love this moment because I think we were all needed a little bit more Keith in that book. Definitely a really cool moment. But now let's get into number 2. Alright, so my 2nd favorite moment from STELLARLUNE is going to be Foxfire. When Mr. Forkle told Sophie about Foxfire being opened up to kind of bring the normalcy back, I was so relieved because why do these keep falling? I was so relieved because this is my favorite part of the series. I literally made a whole video about Foxfire. I think it is so cool. It's kind of like, Hogwarts and all that. And it's a magical school. They all practice their abilities. Their, telekinesis and gym, like the splotching matches. I loved reading about this awesome school of Foxfire. I'm so glad they came back, even if it was for a brief period of time. And one of my favorite moments, funniest moments from the book was when Sophie was actually in the halls of Foxfire Foxfire, and she was thinking about Keith, and she wanted to scream in her mind, like, you know, stop thinking about Keith, but she screamed it out loud, and everyone looked at her, and she was embarrassed. It was such a funny moment, so I loved Foxfire. There was a lot of cool scenes from it. But yeah, let's get on to my first favorite moment. Alright, my first favorite moment, I think you guys all know what I'm gonna say. It's gonna have to be So Keith becoming official. And I've just been waiting for this for so long, maybe 2 or 3 books, and I've had to, you know, read through So Fits and I think it was Legacy. It's been so painful to see, but it's finally here, and I'm so excited to see So Keith evolve in the next book. It was awkward at first, especially when Keith came home, and you know, he was so awkward. He didn't really know what his feelings were like, and his empath ability was off. Couldn't really detect Sophie's feelings, and he didn't really want to expose his feelings. So it was definitely awkward at first, but then Sophie just went for it, and Keith took Sophie to that, like, you know, cool spot. I think it was like with waterfalls and stuff, and they had the kiss, and it's official. And I think it was definitely leading up to this throughout the book, especially with Ro really telling Sophie, like, Keith likes you, you gotta make a move. And Sophie made the move. I think she like wore this like red dress to impress Keith or whatever, but it was awesome. I loved it, and it was super satisfying to read when Sophie admitted to Fitz that Keith and Sophie were official and that they kissed. And like, Fitz sounds so defeated, and I feel like that was like the most satisfying part about it, is like, So Fitz is officially over. But yeah, there was so many great moments. One of my favorite books from the series. I'm so glad Shannon released this book. Really great book. Great job, Shannon. But let's get straight into the outro. Alright, this is the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely STELLARLUNE is a great book. I recommend anybody reading this if you still haven't read it. It's such a great book. But that is going to be it. Drop a like down below if you guys enjoy these KOTLC STELLARLUNE videos. And you know, if you leave a like, it's Christmas. Come on, you gotta support the video. Comment down below what is your favorite KOTLC memory, and also just comment down below if you have any cool Christmas plans coming up. Subscribe down below. We're trying to get to 14,000 subscribers, and we know that 70% of you guys watching are not actually subscribed, so please help us out and click subscribe down below. But yeah, that is going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Peace.